While eradicating polio will stop the development of new cases, this disease will persist as a significant personal, medical, financial, and political challenge for years to come. There remains a living legacy among those that polio has affected, and this living legacy is known as post-polio syndrome. Post-polio syndrome is a condition that affects survivors after recovery from the initial attack. It can occur 20 to 40 years after the initial infection, and it will occur in over 50% of all polio survivors. It has become much more recognized in countries such as ours, in developed countries where we live longer, but the problem will grow into a more serious global challenge in the wake of the polio epidemics in developing countries. Polio survivors like me, who have been able to throw away their braces and their crutches, soon find themselves sliding backwards. Extreme fatigue sets in, pain is felt in joints and muscles that were previously thought to be unaffected begin to fail. After successfully overcoming the effects of polio, facing this new problem can be demoralizing. And many post-polio syndrome people are reluctant to accept that yet again, the effects of polio are disrupting their life. To put it simply, in a way that you can understand, for a person with polio to walk from this end of the room to this end of the room takes twice as much effort as it does for a person without polio. Because we have fewer muscles to work with, they actually wear out faster than the normal aging process. So for me, for someone like yourself participating in 15 NIDs, it'll be more like 30 NIDs from my muscles. My uncle actually spent the last 10 years of his life in a nursing home, unable to feed himself, all because of post-polio syndrome. I and thousands of others live with this fear of isolation and incapacity every day. So as we continue to reach our goal of a polio-free world, it is my hope that Rotarians will remember and find a way to assist the millions of people living with polio in the world today, perhaps even in your own backyard. And I am also here to remind you that the Polio Plus program still needs your help. Rotary needs your continued involvement. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has given us a tremendous gift, but it's going to take all of us to keep our promise. When polio is eradicated, Rotary will have left behind a tremendous legacy. It won't be just the elimination of a dreaded disease, it will be all that we have created in these developing countries. A huge infrastructure of 147 surveillance labs, tracking systems, social mobilization activities, a cold chain to use in those hot countries in Africa, and the great partnership that we have with the World Health Organization, the Center for Disease Control, and UNICEF. We share a monumental legacy like no other, and each and every one of you is a part of it. So this afternoon, I speak to you as the voice of the mother, crying beside the bed of her limp, feverish child. And I speak to you as the little girl wearing the dust of the streets with calluses so thick on her knees and the palms of her hands from dragging herself around. And I speak to you as the young man doomed to a life on a skateboard, wearing sandals on his hands, who looked up at me and asked, "Where can I go to have the surgery that will make me tall like you?" I speak for them because here in this room, they have no voice. Because I have seen and I understand their hardships, and because I've met them all personally. I will close with a quote from Franklin Delano Roosevelt. "Our ability to work together is what will make our victory over polio endure. Because of what you have done and what we will continue to do until this dreaded disease is defeated, is come together like a family. Do what we do best, lift each other up." Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. It's very inspiring. We'd like to give you 2 little mementos of your day here with us. We're so thrilled that you came to share your story. This is a baseball from the Branch Rickey Award that we have every year, where we honor a humanitarian in baseball. And this is a much coveted Rotary silver dollar. It's in a plug of plastic, so you can't spend it. We want you to keep it on your desk to remember your day with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Just another little bit of history. Dave Fleming, you're here today. Would you stand up, please? Dave, as you know, is past club president, and in 1986, he immunized his 6-week-old grandson at a club meeting. The drops were administered by his club secretary, Doc Miller. So this was to kick off the 1986 polio campaign chaired by Dick Roos. Thank you for paving the way for us. And now, my old law prof, Nanda, University of Denver College of Law, and many other things, is going to speak to you about carrying on the legacy of polio eradication within Rotary.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Grant. Thank you, Andy. And thank you, Dave Fleming, Darlie Whitney, and many others, and our own Darlene Mast, who have been working on this for quite some time. Today, the chair of our own club's support to foundations, Murray Wheatley, is not here, and Peg Johnson and Jim Nelson, former chairs, wanted me to stand up here to say a couple words. But after the messages that we heard from you, we don't need to say anything more. I think that was such an inspiring talk, and those 2 stories that you told were so touching. And what we have heard from our own Grant Wilkins and Bob Heiserman, our own people who have gone through that, we really feel that all that we can do, we will do, and we must do. So thank you very much again for all that you said. As president of the club, writing to me about today's program, did again say that ending polio is Rotary's most significant a signature project. And on that signature project, we have had some of our own colleagues who have already stepped up and simply having given the task that we need to help. At the present time, we have 3 of our own colleagues who have already contributed over $500 each. May I ask them to stand up? Murray Wheatley is not here today. Tom Woodruff, are you here? Tom is right here. Tom is the one who gave $1,000, not simply 500. Tom, thank you very much. We have a very special gold pin, and this marvelous red pin is the one that tells us, I think, the most wonderful message: end polio now. And that is the polio eradication pin. And that pin, this club has decided that anyone who gives $500 is entitled to have that pin proudly wear. And so I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to request you, that as many of us as can, we ought to have that pin as